Why do some people struggle to fall asleep even when they're exhausted? I feel like we've already answered this question, but I really just want to pull it out. So why do people struggle to sleep even when you're tired? There'll be loads of times actually where I'm outside, I'm not in my bed, and I feel absolutely exhausted. As soon as I get to my bed, I can't sleep for some reason, or I struggle to get to sleep. Why is that?
Two most common reasons. One would be to do with stress. So it'd be the first time in the day that you've probably stopped and that you've had a bit of quiet, and then your brain will just go spiral. And everything you start thinking about everything.
Yeah.
So your brain suddenly becomes really active because you haven't had a pause in your day to reflect and do that earlier. So it's going, right, now's the time to think about everything. Also, if you're really stressed out, that can feed that thought loop that's happening inside our brains. That's one. The other one is screens. As a really, really big one. Screens again, and just lighting in general. It's not just about our screens, but it comes back to those brain cells in our eyes again. Remember I said they were really insensitive in the morning?
Yeah.
They're actually really sensitive at night, which is annoying. So our phones, laptops, even just overhead lights, like normal lights, they will be activating these brain cells, which is going to tell that clock, hey, it's morning, time to wake up, which is not what we want to do, right? It's squashing that melatonin, which is that sleepy hormone. So if we've got too much bright light exposure at nighttime, we might have loads of that fatigue, that sleep pressure from the adenosine going, I'm exhausted, let me sleep. But that clock's out of whack.
Yeah.
So it's going, it's not bedtime yet. It's not bedtime. And it's pushing it back.
Wow. And that actually, one of the biggest habits of our generation is getting into bed, either having your MacBook, iPad or whatever on, or even your phone actually, and then like scrolling until you fall asleep. But you're basically saying that could be like the worst thing.
Literally the worst thing for sleep. Yeah.
Okay.
Because even if you're doing all this really good work and you've gone out for that morning daylight and stuff like that, you're then counteracting it by doing it later in the evening. You're confusing this clock by being like, oh, it's morning again? Oh, I haven't slept. And it gets really, really out of whack again. So ideally, I'm not saying again, everyone's like, oh yeah, don't go on your phone. So it's just a window. That's all that's needed. It's a little wind down window to avoid that screen use, to allow your brain to do that transition and calm down. So doing something else is really important in that time. It could be, the stereotype is reading a book, but if you don't like reading a book, it could literally be listening to a podcast, an audiobook, stretching, coloring.